Hey everybody, how's it going? This is TD Superheroes. I am Alejandro Perez, your sidekick, and in this video we're going to be going over how to set up the controls for the FK skeleton of our rig. Let's get started. Okay, so let's check out where our tool is right now. So we created a proxy rig. Then we have the mirror selection, so if we did make changes, we can mirror from one side to the other. We can create skeleton from the proxy rig. And then we started creating the control rig, which at this stage is just creating the FK and IK joints. So let's take a look at setting up the FK joints, which should be pretty awesome. Okay, so scroll down to creating the control rig. Okay, so do we have an align? Let's see. Let me just put align and search for that. Align end joints. That's the only thing we have. So let's create an align tool, which will help us. And then we should have a 0 offset group. Okay, we did not create it in this one, so we'll create it here too. So let us find this for the control rig. We're going to create another function here. Define align tool. Okay, so I want to be able to get information, and we're not going to do a get adder because if we create a circle like this, then we basically look and try to copy the information here. We can see that says X at 1 and then 0, 0. If we change that here to match that, we have it completely like not in the right spot. So how we're going to approach it is to take this object, parent it to whatever object we're going to be aligning it to, 0 out the control, and then unparenting. So with the NURB circle, we're going to need to align it along the X, but that is okay. That will get us the control exactly where we need it. So let's go about creating that align tool. It's going to be, we need the target aligned. So that is, actually let's do it in the other order. It really doesn't matter, but I think I like aligned first, then target. So we're going to say MC dot parent. We're going to do aligned to target, then MC dot set adder, and we're going to do aligned plus dot tx. We're going to make that a 0. Okay, I'm going to copy this. So we're going to do that for the Y and the Z. So TY and TZ. Then we're going to do all 3 of these also for the rotate values. Okay. That is the align tool. That is going to work great for us. Then over here, we're going to say MC.select. Then we're going to select this FK joint right here, which is the pelvis, which is the root for all of our joints that we're going to need. And we're going to say HI equals true. So the HI is for hierarchy. Then we're going to create a variable called self for our selection. And then here we are going to do to mc.ls SL equals true. So what this line is doing is we're creating a list based off of the selection. And then for item in cell, we are going to do everything that we need to create the controls here. So the first thing we need to do is do mc.circle, and let's create this as a variable. And we can do more advanced curves and things like that. Like I have a previous tutorial that I did with a lot of advanced curves here in the past. So if you wanted to, you can create something more advanced than a circle. But just for this tutorial, to keep it simple right now, I am going to use a circle, but know that you can use any curve you want. So let's call this my CTRL is equal to circle. Then we're gonna give it a name. The name is going to be equal to, let's create a new name here. We're gonna say new name is equal to, and we're gonna say item dot replace, and we're gonna replace underscore JNT with underscore CTRL. Okay, and then the new name is going to be new name, and then our normal direction is going to be 1, 0, 0. So we're going to be pointing on the X direction. And then we're going to do the align. So we got the align tool here. And before I do that, I want to see, I'm going to just print my CTRL to see what we have. And we have it all caps here. This is a CTRL like that. Oh, this has to have an equal sign. There we go. Create proxy rig. And then create skeleton, create control rig. So here we can see that we have a list, and then we have the make circle, and then we have the control itself. So what I'm going to do is say my CTRL is equal to my CTRL index 0, because we only want the first item. Okay, now we can align. So the aligned is going to be my control, and the target is going to be item. Okay, let's test this out. So create proxy rig, create skeleton, create control rig. Let's see. Yay. We have a control set up for each one of the joints. So on the fingers, let's see. Oops. We do have end. And then over here, do we have it set up as end? Yep. Okay, so looking at it, it is set up the way we need it, but we do need to make sure that we unparent the controls. So we'll expand that tool to do that. Okay, and then the toes, let's see where the end is. It's there. Okay, cool. So I'm going to make sure that I deselect the end joints when we're creating it. So over here, we're going to say mc.select, and then we're going to say star underscore CT, or sorry, end star. And there we can close that. And I'm going to say D equals true. So the D is deselect. And let's see how this turns out for us. That looks like exactly what I need. I've deselected each one of the end joints, so that way we don't have any end joints created there. That's perfect. Okay, so now that we have that going, we've aligned it, that we know that we need to make sure that we parent the aligned. So it's going to be mc.parent aligned, and then comma w equals true. So what that means is that we're parenting it to the world, which basically makes it unparented. Okay, so now we can see that we have all the controls here loose. That it's great. I'd like to create a zero group for each one of these. So in order to do that, let's see, we have my control here. We've aligned it. We can use that variable for my control. We're going to say create zero group. So df create zero grp. And basically we're going to need the control, and we're going to create a group, group, and we're going to select the CTRL as part of the group, and then we're going to say that we're going to give it a name, and the name is going to be CTRL plus underscore offset underscore grp. And then we're going to say mc.group, and we're going to group this new group that we created, and then create it with a name is equal to, and it's going to be CTRL plus underscore 0 underscore grp. Okay, so let's actually have that run. And then we have that. Let's run that before we align. And then it's going to be my control. That is going to be the item here. And then let's say that when we do this, we actually return a value. Return. And we're going to return this item here. Okay. And then we're going to call this here 0 is equal to that. And then we're going to align 0 instead of the control. Create proxy rig, create skeleton, create control rig. And let's see, we have the 0 group. That is perfect. Nothing is currently constrained yet, so that is good. So we have the main control. You can see that the controls here are zeroed out. Then we also have a zeroed out offset group. So if we want to offset the animation or the pose or whatever from the control, we can do that through this offset group. And then we have a 0 group, which is holding all of our transforms for us. So that is perfect. That is what we want, and we have that for each one of the controls. Now we want to go back in here and start building out the constraints. So we're going to say mc.orient constraint. And then we're going to select the target, which is going to be the control. And then the object to be constrained is going to be item. Okay, let's test this out now. Didn't get any errors. That's a good sign. Here, if we rotate this, we can see that our skeleton is going to be moving with that. So now we need to get each one of these controls to actually move with the parent. So like this pelvis control right here, we have the control here. So the waist is actually going to go inside of that control the zero group for that. Then this will go in there. So what will happen is you'll see that if we rotate this, the other joints go with it, and we can actually rotate them to pose out our characters in an FK fashion. Okay, we have all the controls, and then we're going to have to parent everything correctly. So let me this here so that we can kind of look at what's going on. Okay, I am here, and I want to start parenting, so it's going to be mc.parent, and then I'm going to say this control, that should be a string, and we're going to parent that to the pelvis. And this is a string as well. And while we're at it, we can actually do the hips at the same time. So let's add that here. And I'm going to just do the same thing here, but change the R to L. Okay, let's check this here. And we have an error. Let's double check that. Okay. We are missing the parentheses at the end. And we're missing a comma here. Okay, let's test this out. We don't have a syntax error, which is great. And then if we select this, we can see that we have those immediate things parented to us. So we just need to make sure everything else is aligned. And I'm going to repeat that process over and over. So it's basically now the lower chest is going to go into, so if we expand this out, the lower chest is going to go into the FK control. So, and that will be done through parenting. We get this here as it moves up. Oh, did I put it in the wrong one? Let's undo this really quick. The lower chest goes into the waist control. There we go. So that will give us the result that we're expecting. There we go. And we can rotate this, and that moves with it, and so forth. So I'm going to do all that really quick. It's just the same parenting happening. Let's do one more, and after this one I'll just do a time lapse of the controls of what is being parented. So it's going to be parent, and then we're going to do the waist, control. It's not the zero group, it's just a straight up control. So that's going to be the parent, and then the item that we're going to be parenting to is going to be, I just did it, the lower chest. So I can just copy this here. It's going to be quote, comma, there we go, and then at the end we can put close parentheses. So create rig, create skeleton, create control rig. Now we should see that we are having the ability to do all three of these. That is great. Okay, let's go back to our code. And like I said, I'll put this on a time lapse so that way you guys are not having to wait through all this time to do all this repetitive code. Okay, so we should have everything set up right now. Let's take a look at the create proxy rig, create skeleton from proxy rig, and then create control rig. Okay, so now if we have an item selected, we can see that it is going to be parented properly. Something that I did notice, and I did kind of all the work for the palm here. I don't want to actually have the palm control here. So what I think I'm going to do is adjust the script. But let me show you what I have here. So all the parenting section, if I expand the window, this is the code for it. So this section here, if you need to go through and copy it, feel free to. So over here, we have all the fingers going to the palm. Instead of the palm, I'm going to change this to be wrist. Same thing here. And then, now that we have that, let's check for palm. So here, right now, we're parenting the palm to the wrist. I'm going to get rid of that. And then same thing up here for the right-hand side. Get rid of that. And then when we're up here creating our selection group, we're also going to do an mc.select. We'll do star, palm, star, and then we're going to say d equals true. Okay, so now when we create it, we shouldn't have the palm being created as well, because we don't need that. The palm's really only to be able to parent things to the character's hand. Okay, so yeah, all of this should work properly now. I'm not going to do it with that one, but you can see we can get a nice FK bend with our characters here. And the FK skeleton here is pretty much set up. The only thing that would really need to be adjusted is you would select the control, push F8, and then you would adjust it to be scaled to the character's geometry. In this case, I don't have any character geometry. I'm just working on creating the skeleton, so I don't need to worry about that right now. I think we should probably parent this onto the inside of the joints as well. So, and we actually have FKs. Oh, but these are going to be controls, so we don't want it inside of the joints. So let's create a group, mc.group, and we're going to group the pelvis control. And let me just select the name over here. Copy that. And then we'll paste it there inside of quotes. And let's give it a name for that group. And we're going to call it CTRLS. And this should be a string. And let's close parentheses. Go through and test it. We can see we have the joints and we have the controls right now. And what we have is the FK controls. And what we can do just for ease in future lessons is make sure that the visibility of this is turned off. And then later on we'll create a switch. So it's going to be mc.set adder. We're going to get controls. So what we want is ctrls dot v and then comma false. Let's try that. There we go. Now we have the controls turned off. Okay, so we should probably clear the selection also, so that way we don't accidentally move anything. MC dot select CL equals true. Okay. So now here we can see that we don't have anything selected. That is great. The error was only popped up there from before. So if we do this now, we should not see any error down here. That is perfect. All right, I hope that all made sense to you. If you would like to watch another video, check out this awesome suggestion by the YouTube algorithm. They are smart. They probably know what you want to watch better than I do. So take their suggestion for it. See you guys in the next video.